Here's the big question.
How are agents like us,
who didn't get an opportunity to invest in a franchise early,
who are spending time and money to sell homes,
building someone else's saleable asset?
How do we grow a business but still build wealth?
Have an exit strategy,
and get a piece of the pie that's not dependent
on us working more hours and every weekend?
That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
My name is Jay Kinder.
My name is Al Stasek.
And I'm Michael Reese. We are your hosts, and welcome to the One Big Fire Podcast.
What's up, everybody? And we are here to celebrate my good friend Albie Stasek's 3-year anniversary at eXpRealty. What's up, my brother?
Appreciate that. Appreciate that, my brother. Cheers.
Hey, cheers, man. Cheers to you.
It's been too long.
Cha-ching. We haven't done this in a long time, but this is a dang good time to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, why not? What better time than now? Actually, it's Saturday, so we're celebrating a little bit early. But I look at the whole week. It's like a birthday week. You celebrate the whole week, right? Or sometimes the whole month.
You're right. Yeah, you celebrate. Yeah, for sure. It's it's your birthday month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I have to say thank you, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be at eXp. So I'm going to celebrate with you as are you.
Yep. You know what? We have lots of people to thank, and I have to thank Uncle Cliff Freeman, Cousin Cliff, and of course before him, Brent Gove, and the list goes on and on. Rob Flick, Gene Frederick, the whole family of extended honey badgers.
Absolutely. And old Glenn Sanford for being a genius that dreamed up this amazing business model in 2009, back when we were just learning how to use an iPhone. So great stuff, man. And so what I would like to do too. So, this really episode is for as much for people who aren't at eXp as it is for people who are at eXp. And we're going to talk about some really cool things that we've experienced in those 3 years, things we see coming, things that have been part of the journey for us. And just, I think it will help people have a better understanding of why this thing is continuing to explode as well. But we want to answer your questions. So if you have questions along the way, make sure you post those questions, and we'll try to answer anything that you have any questions around as well. So
first of all, you mentioned Beth Silverman, who I absolutely adore this girl. Yeah. She is a boss. She's funny. She's hilarious. She's a great professional, an amazing agent on top of all that, and a great leader in our group and eXp overall. Yeah. She has some pretty funny questions. And so I'm curious what your song would be. I think I know my song, but she asked, if you're a professional baseball player, what would your walkout song or walk-on song when you walk out to bat, what would it be?
Man, it's a good question. So, it's funny because it used to probably, this is a cheesy answer to that question, but it probably would have been something AC/DC, maybe Thunderstruck. That's probably what I would have gone with. And then over the years, as we did these events, those EGSs and all that, there was the Bad Boys song from P. Diddy, and that I think I might have to have that as Bad Boys for Life would have to be my walk-on song. I think I'll probably have to stick with that. Okay, that's a good song. That's a great song, in fact. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, mine's going to be, you may be jealous of mine. I probably will be, because I didn't have a lot of time to think about it.
Because it's not my song, but it would be my walkout song, but it's kind of a song. I think me and you karaoke'd Facebook Live together once, and it sounded terrible with us singing it, but it's Sugar, We're Going Down.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
By Fall Out Boy?
Yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite songs. Even Riggs likes that song. He can sing it better than I can. I think knows most of the words.
I mean, I think that if there was one song I could point at where it would help me hit a home run, it'd be that song, man.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you on that. That's heavy on my playlist.
The last 3 years have felt like that. Like, when we've been out before this damn COVID hit, and we actually got to have a good time and go out with other people and listen to bands or DJ whatever. And we've been out multiple times where, there's been a cover band that sings that song. I mean, the whole place just erupts, right? So that's definitely my song, but that song is how I feel about the last 3 years, hanging at eXpRealty with this amazing leadership and And how about these amazing honey badgers that
baby.
Our community?
What a great community, man. And the whole company is amazing. But there's a special group of people here that we call honey badgers. And that's the group that has joined with us and are kind of experiencing the things that we're working on every day to try to add value and grow together and rock it big time. So appreciate all of you guys. And so, yeah, we're live I think we're live on YouTube and within our group. So just so everybody knows, we're talking to everybody today. So let's talk about this, Al. We had a little conversation. We have a lot of conversations, but we had a conversation about like, well, what it's been a 3-year journey. It feels like, it feels like it blew by, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like the 3 years blew by. It really does.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at what we were talking about this morning, and when you joined this company, the stock was a big deal to you because you understood that the opportunity in that. I remember you saying that before, but the stock was traded at $3.40. Did you see what today it ended up at today? I didn't look at the close.
It hit $34, and I don't know if it closed at $34, but it closed in the 30s. That I know. Okay.
So that's pretty good. So I mean, it's real close to, not quite, but 10x what it was when you joined. And we don't have to put you on blast, but how in terms of this opportunity, I remember when we joined this company. You obviously joined before me. It's not my 3-year anniversary. I'm a couple months behind you, but the sentiment was, it's a penny stock. It's a penny. It's over the count. It's a penny stock. It's a penny stock.
Right.
Yet we were at the event. We took the time to investigate, which, if there was an underlying theme for anybody who's watching this, is like, do your damn homework. Like, we went to the event. You had already joined, or had you joined when we went to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had. You had already joined.
Yeah.
And so, when you go to the event and you're meeting everybody and you're talking to everybody, you start to really get excited about it and whatnot. But this penny stock story, that was the sentiment that everyone was trying to say, well, it's not worth anything. So we met people that were, when I got in, it was only like 12 cents a share or 24 cents a share. And I'm like, damn, what? Like, now, Did I believe that it was going to be 30? I didn't necessarily believe that, but I can just tell you that, like, you think right now, oh, it's at 30, it'll never go to this, or it'll never do that. I think a lot of people have been saying that, that got in when we got in. You're going to say, like, it's at $3.40. It'll probably never go to $10, right?
Right.
Like, that's kind of what, you never know. And stocks go up, stocks go down. Definitely not trying to project anything into the future, but it certainly is an interesting thing that we're seeing happen here with this company and its growth, and the fact that it's traded on NASDAQ over the last year and a half or whatever, when we made that move and all that. But what's, how big of a deal has that been for you? What's it worth?
Yeah. So in full transparency, Jay, I did know, here's what I appreciated about the stock coming in. I appreciated that, there's stock awards that are involved with this company, that if someone was planning on selling real estate for the next 10, 20, 30 years, wherever they're at in their career, that if they were accumulating this stock just through the awards, not buying it, that it would be better than no stock, even if it was trading at $3-4 a share. So, but I also knew that, penny stocks are volatile, and we were trading on the over-the-counter market. So I didn't join because of the stock. Today, that would be a major reason why I'd be joining. So that's shifted. But, back then, I was a little weary of it, and I tell the story because it was funny. I was on a call today with a couple that just came over in April. End of March. It was March, right before COVID hit. They had come over right before COVID hit. Okay, great couple. They live down in Tampa right now, and they're with us now. And they looked at me and they said, Al, and this is back in when the company had like less than 3,000 agents at the company. They were offering stock deals to top agents and teams and brokerages to come over. They don't do that no more, but that was something they did as an incentive, right? And I guess it was it was a husband-wife team, and the wife wanted to come over. Husband said, no, we're going to go to Keller Williams.
Oh, yeah.
They were offered 20,000 shares at the time.
Oh,
so now they chuckle about it and laugh, you know what I mean? But, you know, that's no joke. And, you know, for me personally, when I came over, I did go all in. I opted into the stock program, which you can buy the stock with 5% of your commission at a discounted rate.
Right.
And of course, I've got the stock awards. So, I mean, throughout the course of the years, I'm probably sitting on somewhere around 10,000 shares of stock.
Right.
And half of that, I didn't pay a dime for. The other half, I got at a major discounted rate than what you would buy. And that's just it's like an employee incentive plan for agents and you know, employees of eXpRealty. And it's been great. What I'm saying is that I was not putting a whole lot of weight into it at the beginning.
Yeah.
You can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to caution people that may be watching this thinking the same thing, thinking, oh, I'm in too late. Oh, it's too late. It's too late. That's kind of the feeling that we kind of, it's like, man, it may or it does, maybe it doesn't. You know, you really don't know. And so there's something else you said. There's something else that you said there I wanted to point out. What's up, Caleb Pearson? What's up, Big Daddy? I haven't seen him in way too long. I can't remember what it is, dude. I was so excited I lost it, man. ADHD. Yeah. ADHD is a real thing, folks. It's a real thing. Yep. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. And Holly and Kitchens are Holly and John Kitchens are watching on date night. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Pretty exciting times. But yeah, I think the whole thing around the stock was we maybe all didn't really anticipate the opportunity. And fortunately enough for you invested. Oh, I know what I was going to say. That 5%, by the way, it's the first day of school here. I don't know about everybody else on the planet, but it's an epic fail. So this process of trying to teach your kids at home, our kids are not going to get smarter. I just want to let everybody know that. If you know somebody that let your representatives know this shit ain't working. We got to get these kids back in school. If they catch diseases and spread it, it's just going to have to happen. I'm sorry, but that's just my feelings on it. So I listened from in here because I didn't want to go out there and actually have to experience it, and because I would have been called in to help. But it was bad. So. Yeah. But so when it comes down to, damn it, I lost it again, son of a.
What I invested. I think you're talking about what I invested.
Yeah. 5%. So that there's a lot of people that maybe didn't invest that little 5%, but how important, think about this for a minute. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty astute at knowing what to do with my finances and things and this and that and the other. But what I'm not very good at is consistently taking 5% of how much I made on every deal I sold and putting it into an investment that I believe is the future. If you were to tell you, because this is the argument, like, well, fine, I'll buy some stock from eXp, but you won't be investing 5% of every transaction of every transaction you close from now until forever into eXp stock. You won't do it. I mean, if you tell me you're that good, you're a liar. Right? Or if you're that good, then good for you. But that's not very many people, I would think, right? So how that is such a big deal. It's such a big deal that you can easily just take. And you know what they need to do? This is an earmark up. Let's upload this to the executive team. We need to be able to invest as much of it as you want at no discount, because you know how much more we would probably all put into the stock because we know the company, we're in the company, we believe in the company. The volume would be traded at a lot larger number, and that would be beneficial to everybody. But that's that's an idea. We don't write that one down, but that's a huge piece of this business model, and we don't talk about it enough. Like, it's just like, well, I'm buying the stock at a discount. It's not that big a deal. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal for a lot of people, and for some people, it's been a 7-figure big deal. For you, it's been nearly a $500,000 big deal, right? Yeah. So, in a few years' time. So it's just an amazing, it just, again, thinking of Glenn's forethought to make sure this was a publicly traded company, because that's a real asset. It's not real if it's not publicly traded. That's the bottom line.
You know what's real, Jay?
What's that? What is that?
This is a real pin. And this pin, I don't know if you can read it, but it says Remax Hall of Fame.
Oh, I see that little ruby in it. Yeah, little red stone.
That's not real. The Ruby's not real. I'm pretty confident that Mr. Lineker was not passing out real rubies, in this. But my point is that this is the award I got from Remax for I think earning $1 million in commissions or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the threshold. I think it's like $1 million.
Right.
So you got this Hall of Fame. Even if I was wearing it on my lapel, you wouldn't be able to read it. Right. Now, for doing the same amount of production, I ended up with, a few $100,000 worth of stock. So when you start to think about the exponential compounding effect of this, right? And if you're someone out there, and I'm going to speak specifically to the top producers that might be listening to this, okay? It's time that we talked a little bit about principles, right? And one of the principles that got us where we're at right now is being radically open-minded. Ray Dalio talks about in his book called Principles, the principle being radically open-minded. By not doing that, you're robbing yourself, you're robbing your family of literally wealth, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Our boy Andrew down in Texas, his team, he brought him over I think it was 2 years ago. He just added up, and he came over from Remax, and he just added up all the stock that he's been able to accumulate, and it's 7 figures. It's 7 figures just in stock, half of which he didn't even pay for, right? He got in the form of awards. So when you're thinking about, and now I'm going to speak to the younger agent, maybe somebody who's just starting out. When you look at the compounding effect of this over the course of, I've been doing this for 22 years, you're 23 years. Imagine if we were at eXp. If there was an eXp back in 1997, 98, we would be, possibly, worth $500 million right now, in the amount of stock that we've been able to accumulate over the course of 20 years. So you really, have to take your blinders off, take a look at the platform that you're growing your business off of, and ask yourself the tough question, is there a better way? Is there a better platform? And that's what we did. And I was paying nobody anything as an independent small boutique brokerage. I wasn't paying any franchise fees to anybody, and, made the dive. And, so grateful that we did, man. It's been a fun 3 years.
Dude, it has been a fun 3 years. I want to add to what you're saying too, for that independent, because if you're that independent brokerage out there that's building your own thing, you're chasing that vision, and you got that hustle or mindset, and you're building something, and you're starting to realize your ladder's up against the wrong wall, and that what you're doing isn't sustainable, or what you're doing isn't getting you out of production, or what you're doing isn't getting you to that financial dream. Check your damn ego, right? We used to coach people and had a process for taking people independent, because you were paying too much to a Remax or a Coldwell Banker or a Citrus 21 or whatever broker. It doesn't matter what franchise it is. If you pay more than $30,000 to them, you're paying too much, because at some stage you become the brand, and it doesn't make sense anymore. And a certain level of stability in your business, it's time to just go independent. And that's the reality of it. And a lot of people followed us and did that. So I've been there. I've had that vision of building a national company, but guess what? It's way easier to do it when you're at eXp. Way easier. Our goal was 2,000 agents by December 27th, 2024. That was we're already above 4,000 now. I'm at 3,600, but with Mike's additional group underneath him, another layer essentially, we're well over 4,000. So in way less time, right? Not having to manage people, not having the liability, having a platform that we can build from. That's really what the start. So check your ego. Your ego's not going to get you anywhere in life. You've got to be able to check your ego and look at the opportunity and say, man, is this a way for me to do what I was doing, my vision, still your vision, and do it at a I'm catching some feedback. Doing it at a faster pace and get there sooner than later. Yeah. Man, you guys blew that goal away by double. Make them net.
4 years left to go.
Dude, you know how many people I would have to be managing in order to have 2,000 partners around the country? You know how many people that we forecasted out with what we thought that was going to look like in an org chart. You know who was at the top of that thing? Me. That's not where I want to be. That's not what I wanted to spend the next 10 years trying to do. I thought it was. Now that I know better, I know that's not the right move. But there was so many. It would have been horrible. It would have been hard, which I'm okay with hard, but I'm glad we found a better way to add value to agents without having to take 50% of their money and hiring an entire inside sales force, building a 2,000 person inside sales team to make calls and do all the work and all the heavy lifting, all the marketing that had to be done in order to help agents become successful. I'm much more grateful to be at eXp where I can now do that, provide that value for free, not that exact value. I'm not hiring ISAs and doing all the marketing for you, but teach you everything you need to know to be able to do it and not have to charge you anything. That's just a benefit of being at eXp when you come partner with us. That is a better business model, and you got to take the time to look at it to see it. And otherwise, you just keep charging in that direction. And it's generally, man, it's just you just don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? I talk to people all the time. Al, I know you do too. That are just they never crashed into the wall hard enough. You know what I mean? Like they haven't lost their top 2 agents 3 different times. You know what I'm saying? And like they think that there was something missing and that they're better leaders now and they're gonna rebuild it right this time. Like, nope, it's broken, folks. Yeah. The team model is broken. The independent brokerage model is broken. There's now a better way. It's unbeatable. There's not a competitor to us at all. And it's eXp. That's it. That's what you need to know. And if you can't get on here and debate it against it, then you don't know enough yet. Right? Like that. If you think you know, go. You need to study your stuff and come on here and let's debate it. Because back in the day, they used to have what was all the talking points, Al? What was it? What did they used to tell us when we joined eXp? They told us it was a penny stock, right? Like It wasn't worth anything. Wasn't worth
nothing anyway. Yeah.
Right.
The model wasn't sustainable.
Oh, it's not sustainable. Right. We're gonna grow ourselves to death, right? Like we're not gonna be able to pay out this revenue share. It's not gonna be sustainable. Period. Which is,
Gary Keller tried it and it didn't work.
Right.
So
it didn't work. It doesn't work.
Can't work, right?
It's funny to me. When we joined, I think that and this is probably with any company, that doesn't have a lot of productive agents. There wasn't a lot of mega producing agents in the company. And so when you go in, you're like eXpRealty, that's not the problem anymore. But this was the problem when we joined. And specifically probably when you joined too, like 2 months earlier even. There was nobody, not very many people. And if you look, you're like eXp, all right, that sounds interesting. Let me go look and go in the MLS and you're like, these agents haven't sold anything, So, the challenge of getting people to believe was that there's nobody here that is killing it in real estate. So, I'm not going to be the first, right? Nobody wants to be the first one to jump, even though that would be the right move, wouldn't it, Al?
Maybe, but you don't know, and it's interesting that you bring that up because I know that we segmented the folks out there. And a lot of them were even people that we're close friends with and have a ton of respect for that have been really successful in business. Some even in our mastermind. That there was a segment of people who were just watching me, watching you, and seeing if we're going to fall and fail. Let's just see. Meanwhile, they were actually buying the stock, and it's funny. Yeah. A couple group texts with some of our friends. Some of them are still at Remax, some are independent, whatever, and they own stock. And they're, I'm getting text messages all from last week all the way up until even today. Should I sell? Should I sell now? Should I sell now? They're all in with the stock. They own, $100,000 worth of eXp stock, but they're still working for their broker, their old broker. And I'm like, guys, I get it at first in 2017. Shit, I get it. There was 4,000 people. That was it. There was 4,000 agents at the company. We weren't even in all 50 states.
Right.
So penny stock. There's plenty of reasons. To
believe it wasn't going to work.
Sure, of course. Right. And this is just the way I think. And I've made decisions. And I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm not suggesting anyone else out there make decisions. This is just how Al Stasek makes some hard decisions. When I hit a crossroad and I have to make a decision, one of the questions I asked is, what's the worst that could happen? Because you have to prepare for that, right?
Right. Yep.
So the worst, here's what I said. What's the worst that could happen? Al Stasek, the worst that could happen is this was an epic failure. You made a bad decision, and I kept my signs. So I didn't throw away any. I got 150 signs. I put them in a storage unit, and I'll just go pull those back out and open up Stasek Real Estate Experts again. Everything will be fine, right? Well, I've thrown those away. Actually, we may have actually had a bonfire and burned them. They're gone. Don't need them, but there's this fear factor, right? And 3 years ago, that FUD that was going around, that was being spread by the competitors, I mean, they had to do something. They were losing agents at a massive, massive rate, and they had to figure something out. So that's what a competitor will do. They'll come up with the fear, uncertainty, and doubt and start inserting that into people's heads. If I was competing and I owned a bunch of franchises, I'd probably been doing the same thing, right? Because how else are you going to beat it when you have a superior model that you're going against, and you can't tweak your model. You can't change it because it is what it is, and that is the way it is with a franchise model. You have to come up with something, and the FUD was it. So we don't have to overcome. We don't hear any of those objections anymore.
I feel like we've hit a turning point in this company, and we said this a lot of times, like where we felt the momentum was like it was just different, right? And there's certain people that have joined, along the way, mega agents, mega influencers in the industry. Curtis Johnson, Dan Beer, Kyle Whistle, Kevin and Fred that joined, Andrew Franklin, Chuck Fazio, Veronica Figueroa. These Vincent Koo. Like, I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on. The list is like, it's at least 100 names long, I know of. And so, like, there's no more arguing that some of the smartest people in the industry have all taken the time to do the difficult task of due diligence. Some of them left franchises they bought. Some of them left brokerages they built to 800 plus agents. Some of them, they all did the research. They all did the work. You don't have to be smart to figure this out. Just look at what smart people do. But they all did the work, and then they decided this was a better place to be. You got to understand that's why. That there's a reason why. There's a lot of reasons why, and that's the cool thing about it being now we're all in business together. That's the One Big Fire, baby. That's what this is all about. The podcast One Big Fire is about how do we all work together. Where I don't have to call and what's up, Nick Good. I don't have to go and say, hey, Nick Good, we need to create an LLC together. We're going to get in business together, and here's what it's going to look like. And we're going to call it Kinder Reese Stasek Good Real Estate. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got a better name for it anyways. We probably just have to go with the Good Home Team. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It is great. So I wish I had a better last name. But that's, we didn't have to do that. When we partner at eXp, we're all business partners. We're all together. We all benefit when the stock goes up. We all benefit when everyone does better together. That's the alignment piece. But that's just the coolest part about this model. We're getting to be in business with the people that we all love, like working with and respect in the industry. And we're at this turning point, I feel like now, where the validation is so strong in this business model. And the people that have been sitting on the fence so long, and they're so tired of missing out, that the floodgates are opening, and the number of people that are reaching out, quality of people that are reaching out. Be ready. Watch what happens in growth. This is going to be an unprecedented next, really towards the end of the year and next year, it's going to be unprecedented. We've never seen anything like it. And I'm excited. Yes, so, I am.
Hey, our meeting this morning, we were talking some numbers, if you remember.
Yeah.
And if you're an independent brokerage or a team and you're listening in on this is a biggie for I want you to listen in on. So I want to talk some real numbers here. If you're afraid to talk money, you may want to tune out at this point because we're going to talk some real numbers. And in 2016, that was probably, prior to me coming over to eXp, best year that, my company had put up. We did about $1.5 million in GCI in revenue. But that doesn't really matter. it doesn't matter that we did $1.5 million. It's what you keep in the bank. And about a year and a half prior to that, I had stepped out of production. And if you're a team leader or an independent brokerage and you're a broker owner and you've stepped out of production, you know what happens to your profit margins. They shrink. It's just the way that the model works, okay? I'm not saying that it's good, right, bad, whatever. It is what it is. You need to recruit productive real estate agents to get you back to that same net profit that you would if you were out listing homes. Would that be fair to say?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jay and we did some quick math, right? And I had shared with you that in 2016, I was getting some BS offers from big conglomerates that wanted to buy us. And, they would give you the offer, and we all know what the offer is. If you've been given an offer, it's usually 1.5 times EBITDA. Okay. So whatever your taxable, profit basically is, they'll give you 1.5 times that. Right. And I think that my profit, I may have profited about $200,000-$300,000, something like that. Let's call it $300,000. If someone would have walked in the door with a check for $1 million in 2016 and said, I'm going to give you $1 million for Stasek Real Estate Experts, I would have paused for a second, but I would have given that some serious consideration because I knew it wasn't worth $1 million. It just wasn't. It was not worth $1 million. I had about 10, 12 agents, $1.5 million in production. I know that the math on that, I may have been wise to take that offer, right? Fast forward 3 years, still have the real estate team, but now we have our national network. And if you look at our profit margins, which have more than quadrupled the margins, okay, at this point, I'm swimming somewhere closer to a 50% or more profit margin. And now we actually said this, if someone were to walk into our office and said, Reese Stasek, we want to buy Reese Stasek for $35 million. I mean, it would still give us pause. It would still give us pause to sell for $35 million right now.
Yeah.
That might be actually a bad deal.
Yeah.
So think about that just for a second. Okay. We would pause for sure. And what's cool about this is the story in 2015 when we were in Aspen in our mastermind and you stood up in front of all the guys and girls. These guys are all badasses in our industry. And you said one sentence to them. You asked a question. And that is, if you had $10 million in the bank liquid right now, what would need to change in your business for you to be excited to get out of bed and go to work? You remember saying that?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I remember.
That was the One Big Fire speech. That's when the One Big Fire was born. And that's when you looked at us and said, look, what we want is to build a business with you and put all of our fires together and make one big fire so that if you're sitting on 10 million liquid, that you're still excited about going out and building that business. And so I could tell you that if someone offered that to Reese Stasek right now, we had to split the 30 million or whatever it is, 3 ways, 10 million each. That wouldn't be enough for me. It just wouldn't. And I know that our business is worth north of that at this point. So just think about what we've been able to do in 3 short years. And all we did was we set out to add as much value to as many people as possible. And what we ended up with was this amazing network of Honey Badger Nation, these honey badgers who are just, that if you were to ask me, and I know you didn't ask me, but if you were to ask me what's the favorite thing, that I would look at and reflect on and find just the most enlightening and fulfilling, it's the Honey Badger Nation.
No doubt.
I would have never believed you if you would have said in 3 years, Al, you're gonna be sitting on 4,500 agents or how many ever there are. And I think we're at 4,300 or something like that in our group of agents. And all you got to do is keep adding value to their life, and what they give back is 100x what we put in, with them, and it's just an amazing group of people. I love every one of them.
No doubt.
And it's been a blast. That's my favorite part of it.
Today, every time I have to explain to somebody that when you partner with us at eXp, we're going to add you to this group on Facebook. And then I have to explain to them it's called Honey Badger Nation, powered by eXpRealty. And today I was trying to remember, did we even have a conversation? Because I know we know how Honey Badger, the honey badger became an important our spirit animal. But did we have a conversation about how we named the Facebook group Honey Badger Nation? I don't remember if we did or not.
Did we have a conversation about it?
Did we just create it one day? Like, all right, let's just call it Honey Badger because we're honey badgers. So like, we definitely didn't think that was going to become like a big deal. But like, if you're a honey badger, we look, you look at people, you give a little wink. You're like, yeah, you a honey badger. All right, we good.
We named it because the conversation was, well, we need a Facebook group. Like, yeah, right. You need a Facebook group. Like,
mainly too, just so y'all know, I want people to understand this too, because this was before eXp had implemented Workplace by Facebook. Right. Otherwise, we probably would have just built it within the platform of Workplace, which would have been fine. But we didn't have that, so we built it on obviously a Facebook, and it's worked out really, really well. And I think if truth be told, I think that the eXp leadership team would like for us to have that in Workplace, not out separate and have this separate group or whatever. But it is what it is. We survey the group; everybody wants to keep it, and so but it's a special group of people. When you partner with us, you get to be a part of this network, and it's some of the top people in the company, and we're proud of it. I want to mention one thing too, because it's impressive, but at the same time, it's also not impressive at all. We're whatever it is, 4,000 strong, whatever it is, somewhere in that range. We're 10% plus or minus we're only 10% of the company. That's it. Like, we're not like some overachieving the company. We built we're a fraction of what the growth in this company is come from, like a very small fraction. So like, I just want people to understand, like, it ain't because we're special. It ain't because we made something happen that no one else can happen. Every single person that's in this company has the same opportunity to build what we built. It's only a few thousand agents. We're very small at the 33,000, wherever we're at today in terms of number of agents. Anybody can have 3,000 agents under them. It's very, very possible. So like, I don't want you to think the opportunity's passed, because it absolutely hasn't. We're going to have in our group today, we had the report of the top 100 honey badgers that we have. At the bottom of that 100 is a 10, meaning they have 10 people that they personally sponsored. When we started in this company, our goal was to help agents we called it the 10 by 10, help 10 people get 10 people. And not everybody's going to do it. And that's a fact. We know that not everybody's is truly going to focus on agent attraction or give enough effort into it to be able to be successful. But that's a big deal. We got 100 honey badgers with at least 10 in their front line. That's a big deal. And when you focus on expands. And so we're trying to help people that want to build and want to grow and want to build a passive income. If you want to grow your business, you don't want to ever recruit a single person. It doesn't matter to us. We're still going to help you. But that's what this is all about. You said, uh-oh, I missed it.
Yeah, it looked like an iPad kicked down over at the Kinder house because you froze up.
Oh, man.
Okay. No, I think we got it all out.
All right, cool.
You're absolutely right. But your original question was, it was a conversation, what we're going to name the group. Obviously, if you followed, what is it called, Stoffel? If you just Google Stoffel and honey badger in YouTube, watch that video, it'll kind of tell you everything you need to know about the persona of what a honey badger is, right? And we have amazing honey badger women. In fact, that's my favorite group of all the honey badgers. There's some just great girl bosses that are coming up, pouring value into this group on a daily basis. We got Holly Kitchens. Thank you so much. We owe her a huge thank you.
Yes, sir. Girl
is just unbelievable, amazing. And we couldn't be here without her, really. Or John Kitchens, Mr. Automatic, motivating us to stay in shape, motivating us to make sure that we're consistent with everything we do.
The Iron Man, John Kitchens.
Yes, Mr. Automatic, and just it's been a great support system and leadership team that we've got to work with in growing this. So, man, it's been amazing. Great.
So hey, let's hit. I want to hit some of the reasons why it works, man. I don't know why. Hopefully this is valuable for everybody, because like understanding the reason why this company is growing will also help you understand why you should be a part of it. And we've been studying business models for years and years and years and trying to find the right one. And we didn't create it, so we're not that smart. But we're definitely identify, right? So what made this work in the last 3 years? It's unprecedented, the growth that we've had. The number of agents when you joined Al, 3 years ago was 4,000. It's 32,000 plus today. That's unprecedented in real estate. It's just not something that we've seen done before, and we're not going to slow down, especially as we continue to open up international. But the one thing that sticks out in my mind, and I'm curious if it's the same for you. I would put you on Front Street and make you answer this question, but I don't know if you would answer the same. So I'm going to just tell you my number one. Okay. But I believe that the smartest thing that Glenn Sanford did, first of all, is understanding the business model. Business model supersedes strategy. You can be as strategic as you want and want to build a real estate business. You can work as hard as you want. You can do all things. But if you get the business model right, then it works for you instead of you working for it. So, there was a post, and I'm not 100% sure where I saw the post, but it was a repost of something that Glenn had said in a meeting, and it got posted. I think Brian Colhane's actually posted it later. And it says something to the effect of that Glenn was saying, we're going to make the opportunity so big that the right people are going to join this company and they're going to help us grow it. And I believe that was the catalyst for the right people joining this company. Is if the opportunity is big enough, the right people, you're going to attract the right kind of people that see the opportunity and want to grow. And so that's one of the principles behind what makes something work. And I go back to all the businesses, right? Like I think of everything I've ever done, right? Like you could think of, the call center, you could think of your real estate business, and we've had all these different businesses, and we've had NAEA and had a tremendous amount of success. And we had when we started outside of real estate, we were selling websites. And one of the mechanisms was if you referred 3 people, you got your website free. And we sold a bunch of websites because of that. Yeah. And so like when you really think about like create opportunity is a big piece. And it was missing. There was no opportunity for people that joined our teams. That's why they would leave. There's no opportunity for you inside of a franchise, so you leave. But if you create opportunity, and again, it comes because of the cloud-based brokerage, not having people who bought a region for $500,000 that are going out and selling franchisees, that are building millions of dollars worth of infrastructure to manage an agent, an office, a physical office to recruit agents all over across the country. And when you remove that with a cloud-based technology, no different than Amazon did or Netflix did, you are disruptive, because now you freed up a lot of money in the business model to pour back into the agents and the success and the technology and the things that we get at eXp that you don't get anywhere else. And then guess what? You kind of also messed up your growth mechanism, right? How are you going to grow this thing? So, well, you don't have somebody who bought a region bucks and you don't have somebody who bought a franchise for that opportunity to recruit, then how are you going to grow it? And Glenn's idea was, well, why don't we just let the agents, and do we as agents know people that we like to work with and people that we don't ever want to work with? Right? Absolutely. Yeah. I can tell you there's agents that I would never recruit to eXp, period, ever. You know why? Because they're idiots. And I don't want to work with them, much less have to work with them ever again. And so that's a good business model. When you attract great people, they also bring on great people. We don't bring on – I ain't never talked to an idiot and really tried to convince them to join eXp. And I have talked to many idiots about eXp. They'll want to get on a call with me. If they're not the kind of quality of person that I really want to have a conversation with, or that's serious about the real estate business, or is ethical, we're not going to bring them on. We're not going to even tell them about the opportunity. We don't even really want to work with them at eXp. And because of that, we've got this culture of top people.
Sometimes those are my favorite calls of the day, because I can tell within 10 minutes. And then what I do is I have a 30-minute call block with that person. And after 10 minutes, I'm like, it's not a fit. And I just actually bought myself 20 more minutes of the day.
Right. Sounds like it's not for you, buddy. Yeah. You do what you're doing. Right.
Exactly.
But to
put a bow on what you said, because you mentioned actually 2 things. The first, so what you're saying, Jay, the number one reason is financial alignment. Alignment with ownership, alignment, through the opportunity of revenue share. It's that ability to have that financial alignment. The second thing you said was the cloud. And I want to touch on that for a second, because the first time I saw the Verbella platform, I kind of chuckled at it. You know, we went in there. I immediately was skeptical. I'm like, how is this disruptive? I don't get it. I went ahead and dressed up my avatar, made it look way more handsome than I am in person, and was trotting around this thing. And I just wasn't seeing the whole picture. That's why Glenn's brilliant. It didn't dawn on me. But if it hasn't clicked for you, let's see if this helps. Last week, when they did the investor Q&A and our second quarter earnings came out, they did an investor Q&A, and one of the things that was announced is that we're going into 5 new countries. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, they literally, I think only 3 or 4 months ago, hired Michael Valdez, and I believe he was with
Realogy.
With Realogy, an executive with Realogy, in charge of expansion for all the Realogy brands. Came over to eXp in a matter of like 4 months, in the middle of a pandemic, which means he didn't leave the dirt of the United States, opened up 5 countries. We're going in now into France, Mexico, India, I believe South Africa.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the 5th one, I can't remember. You may remember it. I don't remember. There is a 5th country though. Right. And he did that without leaving. So we talk about the power of Verbella. Right now, as we speak, if you go and punch in eXp World, that's eXp World Holdings, and that's who owns eXpRealty, they have purchased Verbella among other companies, and Verbella has a line out the door for companies, universities all around the country and the world who want the same platform that we've been operating on for years and years and growing our brokerage. They're now shifting from their brick and mortar, sometimes because they have to because of the pandemic. But a lot of them are permanently doing this. They're doing away from all the expensive brick and mortar, and they're going with a Verbella platform. And there's literally right now a line out the door. Mm-hmm. So much so that Glenn Sanford had to shift the majority of the time during his work day. And this was probably back in April, May-ish when he did this. And he went all in to help the Verbella team figure out how to scale because they had so many customers they didn't know what to do with, right? And so when you just kind of think about this, I wrote a letter, like a 2-page letter to the superintendent of Bay Village Schools here in Ohio. This is where my kids go to school, imploring her to please take a look at this platform, because if the kids have to work remotely and they have to learn remotely, Zoom isn't the answer. People are getting Zoom fatigue now. Zoom is a great tool. Don't get me wrong. I'm on it every single day, but that's not the best learning tool out there. You take a look at Verbella. That's why the U.S. government has signed contracts with us. That's why HP, Hewlett Packard signed an agreement with us. And now Verbella is going to be on over 1 million new computers that are going to be sold that are automatically installing it on there. And now HP is going to be a reseller of Verbella. This company is not just about real estate. It's about the ancillary services that help service the real estate company, that are individual companies that are standing on their own, profitable on their own. Listen to the Q&A that Glenn did with our CFO last, I think it was Wednesday. And it is worth an investment of your time to listen to that. If after listening to that, you don't believe that, if you have a thought that you're too late, listen to that and you will know that you're not too late for this company. He is just getting warmed up. He meaning Glenn Sanford.
Yeah,
and
baby.
I can tell you that I was sold on this company 3 years ago, but I've been resold at least 6 or 7 times throughout my tenure at this company. I keep getting resold and resold. And that's so important, because, Agile is one of the reasons why we're in this position too. If there's something that needs to be changed, we change it. We don't have franchise rules and laws that we have to abide by. If we have to make a change for the betterment of the company and the agents, then they make the change. And it's been great. So hopefully that's fire, bro. I want to piggyback on your Agile, because that's one of the principles. It's one of our core values. And as an insider, if you will, to watching things and decisions get made, and it's far beyond anything I've ever built. But knowing the complexities of people and and changes and being able to make changes and move and be fluid,
agile is probably one of our most important core values. And I can tell you it's been one of the most impressive things I've seen as we have experienced growth from where we joined, it was 5,000. When you joined, it was 4, but to all the way to where we're at today is the difficult decisions to replace. And let me make an extremely important point. The people that will get you to 1,000 agents in your brokerage are not the people that will get you to 10,000. And the people that get you to 10,000 may not be the same people that get you to 100,000. And you got to make difficult decisions with people as you're growing a company at this size. I mean, it's trying to keep the wheels between the ditches while you're growing, and you're trying to improve process and systems. And you got people that you've hit a lid with that are in the way. And you got to do something about it. And it becomes obvious especially for agents that are doing deals as it relates to that, but even more so for the agents that are doing agent attraction, that many people that are frustrated and they come to us with the problems. And so we're like, we got a problem. And so when we bring those problems up and we would go to the executive team, and you get on the, and amazingly, you can get on the call, even still to this day, with Glenn or with Jason Guessing or with any of the executives in the company. It's unbelievable how willing they are to listen to us in the company giving feedback, and then they go fix it. And that means sometimes letting go makes difficult decisions. The executives in this company have to make really hard decisions in order to keep this company growing the way it's growing. And it's been phenomenal to watch how the executives in this company are supporting us as a group and supporting the agents, and they're supporting one another and doing the things necessary to remove obstacles. And sometimes that obstacle is a person that needs to be top graded. But that to me has been, and just watching from the inside, knowing that that's a difficult decision if you let that person go. You got a lot of shit you got to fix, because that person's a leader of these people and these people. Yeah. Like it's difficult, and they've done a phenomenal job of that. And because of that, my belief just goes up every day. Like you're saying, like, I'm like, you're willing to do whatever it takes. We're agile enough to move around, make decisions and move. And there's not this stodgy culture that's, keeping people locked in place, where they shouldn't be, or they're holding us back. It doesn't happen. And it's just cool to see that. That's a big deal. And not a lot of people probably don't understand that, but I respect it because that's not an easy culture to create. But they have done that here. And that's one of the principles to why we're where we're at today.
Have you noticed that, since we've been here and actually right before we joined, there was an executive that was asked to leave, let go, replaced, whatever you want to call it. We didn't get to know that gentleman. But since then, there's been a few that have come and go. Yeah. And they've been all really, look, they don't hire dumb people, right? They've hired solid individuals. It doesn't mean that they're not the right fit, or they are the right fit. So what I've witnessed is that at the moment right now, and this wasn't always the case, there is zero ego in any one of the positions of leadership right now. Zero. Mm-hmm. They're not making decisions. Glenn's never had the ego, right? So you're going to see glaring differences between, our leadership, from the CEO to the founder to the presidents to the vice presidents and all the way down the line. These are people just like us. Yep. And they're out there, and they're all cheering for us, and we're cheering for them. And I've never seen anything like that before, because there's a lack of ego. When you take that ego out, you're going to make different decisions.
Yeah, dude. I just drew a correlation that I never had thought of, and I'm thinking back to, why is it so different? Why was it so different when I was at Coldwell Banker? My dad owns a Coldwell Banker franchise, still does. And you deal with somebody that's responsible for the region, right? You got, that's the franchise model I described earlier. Their opportunity is to help you become successful. And then there's this whole corporate part of that business that you don't see. And I did pull it up, and I'm definitely not picking on Coldwell Banker, but they have 5,200 employees. And so I never met one of them other than, when Alex Perillo was the CEO and he would speak. This was years and years and years ago. And so, like, there's this difference because nobody owns a franchise, nobody owns a region. There's nobody to talk to except for executives in the company responsible for whatever production, whatever thing they're responsible for. They're dealing with us at the first, on the front lines. They're dealing with us and they're listening. There's nobody in between us. And so you're not talking to a broker that owns an office that has a bunch of agents. You're talking to the agents in the field doing the business that have a problem. And so that information flow is so much easier and so much better. And not to mention the fact how it flows, right? It's not you have an office that has a regional person that a physical office is standing there. We're all in workplace. We're all in the world together. If I have a question, I am from my cell phone, 1 click or 2 clicks away in workplace from sending a message to any executive in the company about whatever my problem is. And they, guess what? They reply, they listen, they answer that. And they know that we're not bringing a bunch of dumb stuff to them. They're like, hey, this is a problem. We got to do something about this. Boom. Hold on. Let's do this. Hey, go talk to that person. Hey, all right, I'm on it. Let's jump on this call. Like, it's incredible how the speed of communication within this company. And that's the reason things get fixed. That's the reason we're able to grow this fast. It's another piece of the pillar, a piece of the reason why we're successful. And I want to make one point you made. We were talking about the cloud earlier. And there's one thing that is a fact when it comes to being disruptive. If you want to be disruptive, guess what? It has to be better. If it ain't better, then guess what? You won't be very disruptive. And so, like, when you think about Netflix, you know what I'm saying? Like, the reason there's not still people driving Blockbuster Video to get their content to watch tonight is because everybody on the world decided, that's pretty stupid. This is way better. I'm going to get Netflix, right? Like that. There's not one person that's driving around right now looking for a Blockbuster, right?
Well, hang on now.
Right.
Did you just see that thing that came by? I literally saw it either this morning or yesterday that you can pay money to spend a night in I think it's did you see that?
I saw it a while back. Yeah. It's like the last Blockbuster.
Like the last Blockbuster on the planet. You can go there, shop for a VCR, DVD, whatever, and spend the night there and watch a movie like in their little.
Right. Yeah. Someday, it's like drive-in movies are back. So maybe someday that'll come back. But I don't think there's anybody, right? There's nobody going around right now going, you know what? I miss paying those late fees. I miss that. And I miss that. Shopping around and finding that there wasn't one available. The one new movie that just came out ain't available. I miss that. Nobody misses that. It's better. That's it, right? Like, the reason Netflix took over is it's better. And same thing with Amazon. Like, there's no way. Like, I think about the things that showed up today, and I had some, actually, part of what my drink is made with, Fever Tree ginger beer, which I highly recommend. The Refreshingly Light, that is the less sugar version, but it is delicious and nutritious. But that Fever Tree, so it got delivered today. I don't even know which liquor store in town might carry it. I don't know if anybody does, but I'm not trying to go figure that out and drive around. I'm going to order it on Amazon, and I'm getting the best deal. Why would I'm not going to go drive around and try to find things to buy in all these different stores when I can just right here, click, order, one-click order. Like, yes, Amazon, you killed it. It's better. That's why we all use it. And so
my personal trainer, just on that Amazon, he literally gave me an entire list of all the supplements to buy. And I was like, he goes, where did you send it? He goes, it's in your email. So I went there and checked in my email, and it was every single one of those, from, the proteins to the whey to whatever he had me, doing some joint, because I'm an old man now. My joints hurt. So he got me some fish oil and all sort of stuff, even down to a belt, so I don't blow my hernia out. Every single thing. One big order, it's done. It'll be here in like 2 days.
Right. Yeah. It's an easier way. It's a better business model. It's easier. It's faster. We're not going to decide someday that we'd rather go drive around and go to all the stores and buy all these things individually. It's not going to happen. And I think people, I know for sure, and we've already said it in this actual conversation, but I didn't really see that. I didn't see that. I didn't see how disruptive it was. Until you are on the inside, you'll never understand how much better it is. You will never, ever, once you join eXp, you're never, ever going to think, man, I sure wish I could drive to the office so I can find the broker, so I can ask them a question and get an answer, when you have Workplace on your phone and you click 2 buttons and then message the broker and you get an answer, or you message something in the group for your state and your city group that you're a part of, because that's just like Facebook, and you ask a question or you search for the question and somebody's already answered it and you got the answer immediately. You will never go back to thinking you need to have a real estate office to drive into, because what do you get from your real estate office? Support and training. Can you get more training in a cloud environment? Yeah, we do 55 hours a week. What are you getting from your broker? Nothing like that. Can you get more support? Yeah, you literally can go into any area of the company, get an answer to a question instantly, do it from workplace instantly. And I say instantly, whatever, it may take a minute or two to get an answer if anything, but it's almost instant. It's almost like Amazon. It's like Netflix. It's so much better. This would not have worked. This would not have worked if it wasn't better, guys. It wouldn't have worked. We would all have been like, see ya. We're going back to the old model. This sucks. It has to be better. And they focused on nailing that, and they did nail that. And that's the reason why it will never, ever be trumped, because nobody's going to trump Amazon. Nobody's going to trump Netflix, and ain't nobody going to trump eXpRealty. You can bet on that. There's not even a number 2 in the game. Like, who you go to besides Amazon to buy stuff?
That's it.
Right? I mean, there's Hulu and Netflix, maybe.
I get sucked into an Instagram buy every once in a while. I'm guilty as charged on that.
Instagram is crushing the retargeting of your search and making relevant shit that people like us would buy for sure.
In a scary way. Right.
It's really good. Yeah, I bought something on Instagram the other day, and I was looking at the price, and I was like, this is a really strange thing, but it was a telescope that would literally, like, they showed how far it would go, like from like way out, and I'm like, holy cow, they like zoomed in on something like 2 miles away. And I was like, what is that thing? What'd you get? You got you some new shoes?
I did not need these shoes. Let's just start with that. Okay. I got plenty of shoes, but I got sold that these are the most comfortable shoes on the planet. And they ended up coming in a half size too big. So I gotta take them back. Not a big deal, but they are. But like, it's these types of things. Like, I didn't even have to leave. I didn't have to, put on clothes, drive down to the store, nothing. This just
dude, look right here. I just bought this on Amazon today.
I know what gave you that idea, because you were looking at a house in Puerto Rico and you saw that guy had one.
Yep. Dude, I've seen them for a while. They're actually dropped in price, but like they're down. I mean, when I saw them before, I've had back problems is the reason I got it. But and this chiropractor, he loosened me up and essentially I know I needed it. So anyways, that's why I bought it. But I didn't have hey, anybody know what store do you go to buy one of these? Anybody? I don't even know where I would go to buy it. Anyways, yeah, I think we've made our point that when it's better, when it has to be better, agents wouldn't be joining us. We wouldn't be at 32,000 agents if it wasn't better in terms of service and support and training and the value we get from a brokerage. You guys got to believe that. I mean, if you're here, you already know it. But if you don't, it's hard to explain how much better it is until you experience it, right? It's like, while people are going to Blockbuster, I'm already halfway through the movie you were looking for, to watch. It's just that much faster. It's better.
Sam Holman. Sam Holman, he's funny. I
love Sam Holman.
Jay. Sam.
What did he say?
He said, "Nice vibrator, Jay." I knew that was going to be coming from you.
Yeah, right. That's not what this is, actually. It's percussion. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, it's for muscles. It's for muscles that tighten up and pull your back out of whack. That's what I'm using for anyway. Yeah, the Sharper Image store. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably true. They probably have one. They should if they don't. But yeah, but I used to have to think about that, right? Like if I saw that somewhere, I'd be like, man, where do you get one of those? Man, maybe Sharper Image, maybe this, maybe that. No, you don't. You just click a button and order it. And the same thing with your real estate business. You got a problem? Hey, how do I generate some leads? Hey, let's click on this. Let's go get some of this training right here. Boom. Oh, here's a video. Somebody's showing you exactly what to do. Just like that. Whatever it is you want. Dream it. You can dream it. You can have it. What else? Is there anything else that we want to share about what has made this such a successful business model? Anything we haven't talked about?
I think we pretty much hit on a lot of it. I mean, one of the other things that, we didn't mention was, for it to be great, it had to work for the average agent, not just the superstar who's selling hundreds of homes. It had to work for your your average agent that's maybe selling $1 or $2 million, right? Because if it's still not beneficial to the person selling 1 or 2 million, then it ain't gonna work. It's a fact, because the majority of our agents are at that level and they're trying to grow and they're trying to learn. But if it isn't beneficial financially to them and that group, if it didn't solve problems like a problem in lead generation, perfect example. If you're an agent out there and you're doing $1 million or 2 million, chances are you don't have the money to invest in an expensive platform for lead generation. Glenn Sanford solved that problem. Everyone gets a KV Core lead generation site coming right out of the box when you join eXp for no additional cost. It's like a $700 a month site, and the tech fee at eXp with the university fee is like $85 a month. And that's just, it's a drop in the bucket. And that includes all of your tech, including SkySlope. So, when you talk about disruption, it's like it's a word that gets thrown around a lot. But for something to be disruptive, you have to save the consumer time and money. So those are the two components. Why is Uber? You're saving time and money. It's cheaper to take an Uber than a cab, and it's going to save you more time than trying to hail a cab down. It's just more convenient. That's why Uber's huge. It's why Amazon's huge. It's a convenience, right? And I think Glenn nailed that both in the model in all the different ways. And the cool thing is, especially with the ancillary services that we have coming here, he's literally just getting started. When we started with the company, there was zero money coming into the company for ancillary services. And that's literally just now starting to pick up. And that's exciting. But I think we pretty much covered. What did we miss? I thouut you may have said something.
No. You hit it on the head. When we had we do coaching, we coach agents till this day. But the number one thing that when we identified our ideal customer for us, they were ideally doing 25 transactions or more, and they would come to us and they would pay us $1,500 a month. And $1,297 actually was probably the average. And so about $1,300. And so at $1,300 a month, they would start coaching with us. We would help get them clear, right things, right order. And almost certainly, the number one problem they had was they needed a sales and marketing process to generate predictable buyers or sellers every single month. That was missing in their business. It wasn't hard for us to figure that out, right? And so guess what they needed? They needed a platform. They needed a platform to be able to lead generate from, manage the follow-up process, and that was the key piece that was missing. So we would tell them, listen, you need to go get this platform. Whatever one that we maybe at the time have been using ourselves, or we had the most success with, or we had the most clients with success with. And they would go spend $1,000. Back in the day, it was $1,500. You know what I'm saying? It started at about $1,500 for a platform like that. That's like KV Core today, which you could go buy it today for $700 or whatever it is a month. And so that, that's an expense. That's an expense. So now you've made enough to get to a point where, like, I know I got a problem. I need lead generation. I need somebody to help me solve this problem. All right, now I'm $1,300 in plus $7. Now it's $700. So now I'm $2,000 in. So it's $2,000 a month is a lot of money. And if you're doing 2 deals a month and your average transaction, whatever your split is, and maybe you're making 15,000, 2,000 is a big number. It's a big number if you're making 15 grand a month. And so you need a coach. Nobody would argue that you don't. You need a platform for lead generation if you don't have one. And you've been confused about whether you should buy one or which one to buy, because everybody's selling something, and then Zillow's trying to sell you leads in the county two counties away from you because everything's sold out. Like, where the hell do you invest the little bit of money you're making to grow? So coach, platform, and then you needed a budget for the actual traffic to generate leads, or you were letting them do it, give them the money, they do it for you. And so at eXp, the thing that gave me the most belief was that I knew that it was better for even the average agent, even the new agent that joined the company. And I knew the opportunity for big agents, we were all going to come, and we probably weren't going to go nowhere. But if it hadn't had the ability to make it better for the average agent to become successful in real estate, I would have really, really questioned this business model. But they didn't sacrifice anything. They went all in.
Just to do the quick math, Dave, that's over $40,000 a year between coaching and a platform that an agent would have to, they get to that next pinnacle, and then they invest back in, and they got to make up all that that $42,000 back up just to break even to get back to where they were before.
Right. Yeah. It's a scary investment for an agent that's having some success, much less an agent that has had no success. And so if somebody came to me and they had no money, I'm like, I can't help you because I'm going to tell you need this thing and it's going to cost you more than what it would cost you to pay me. So like, go get this thing and but you're going to have to learn how to use it. You're going to need coaching, training, all this stuff. Everything in eXp is included. We coach and train. We give you everything we ever created. You couldn't possibly put a price tag on the value of that over the course of your career. You could, Al, because you've been paying us for a long time before you joined and we all became business partners. But that's
6 figures, my friend.
More than 6 figures. Yeah, it's a 6-figure investment you made to get to the point where you're at. And that's a huge deal for agents. And I think a lot of people miss that as a point. Last thing, Al, and we can jump on. What's up? What you doing? We got underwear. My son has got underwear on his head. What are you doing? Yeah, so that's what happens at my house at 7 o'clock. How was your first day of school today? Good? Right on, man. Don't be coughing that Corona over here. All right, so the future, right? Where are we headed, man? What do you think? What are your thoughts on the future with eXp and where this thing is headed? What do you think we're in store for the next 3 years?
Well, so I'll say this, and this is going to echo, Glenn Sanford in that Q&A that happened last week. I literally was in the truck listening to that. I got goosebumps, and that doesn't happen often. And one of the things, we got a lot of really, really excitable, great leaders who are they're just, look, Brent Gove, love that guy. You can't be in a room with Brent Gove for more than a minute and you're going to walk out, even if it's just 60 seconds, you're going to walk out feeling better, because that's just the energy that this guy portrays. And I remember the time when Brent Gove said, we're going to 200,000 agents, he's out he's spitting over everybody, and so we're like, all right, Brett, let's pump the brakes. We're only at like 10,000 at the time, right?
Right.
Okay? We're talking about 200,000.
Right.
The first time, I heard Glenn Sanford, because he was questioned by this group of big investors that was at this Q&A. What do you see over the next few years? Like, what does this scale to? Are you prepared for scaling? And he says, I can legitimately look at everybody at this point and say that we have the infrastructure right now, and we did not have it 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We had growth pains 2 years ago. Even 3 years ago, we had growth pains. But even up till 2 years ago. And the infrastructure right now has the ability to take this to 200,000 agents easily, And so when you think about that, when you think about how we're expanding internationally right now, and we're doing it without having to fly off of our continent, I believe that 200,000 agents is easily attainable. And I did not believe that 2 years ago. I believe it now. I believe it with the leadership team that we have, that the people, the talent that they keep adding, the acquisitions that the company keeps making, and building that foundation stronger and stronger so that we can compete and continue to compete and lead. I see that now. And without a blink, I can tell you it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Where even 24 months ago, I'd have been like, that's a Brent Gove pie in the sky. He's just getting happy with us,
Right.
Brent was right. So I'm sorry I ever doubted you if I ever did. And I didn't doubt you, my friend. I love you, Brent Gove, but he was right.
Yeah. And now he's calling for 1 million, right? Now
$1
million international, baby. We going to 1 million. And I believe he's right. I do. Yeah. I do. I don't see, there's no reason that you would be in real estate and not be here. There's no reason, none whatsoever. Every possible reason you can think of, you should be here at eXp. And that's just the reality. And people are going to figure it out. And the only caveat I have for that is unless you sell 2 or 3 homes a year and that's all you care to do, then you're what I call an AFA. I have no problem calling you that. We call you the average frustrated agent. And that's fine. Just do your thing. Your level of professionalism that and that's the agents that are moving eXp. And that's cool, right? It's all good. You do your thing, we'll do our thing. But anyways, hey dude, so we'll end this thing. We've been rocking it for 1 hour and 15 minutes. I just want to say thank you again. You know what I'm saying? Like you did the research, you put this thing out there and you made the commitment got me to look at it, really truly look at it. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And this is a celebration of you and the you were doing to trying to find a better way for your real estate business. And all of us are benefiting because of that. So thank you, my friend, and happy 3-year anniversary to the Stasek Group at eXpRealty. And we're going to rock. Guess what? We're just getting started, folks. You wouldn't bet against us. That's what I would tell you. You wouldn't bet against us.
I wouldn't.
No.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, Tress.
Yeah,
it's been a blast.
Yeah, man.
Been a better partner, friend, and thank you to Honey Badger Nation out there.
Brother.
We love you. And as we always sign off, we'll see you at the top
or from the top.
Cheers.